In May 2022, $40 billion vanished in a week. Not stolen, not hacked, erased. Retail investors lost life savings. Crypto lending platforms collapsed. Hedge funds imploded. The shockwave triggered one of the largest financial meltdowns in cryptocurrency history. At the center of it all was one man, a Stanford-educated computer scientist, a founder who promised a new financial system, a visionary who mocked critics on Twitter and called his creation unbreakable. Then it broke, and he ran. This is the story of confidence, collapse, and a global manhunt. The rise. He wasn't a nobody. Stanford computer science degree, work experience at Microsoft and Apple, tech giants representing the pinnacle of Silicon Valley success. In 2018, he saw an opportunity bigger than corporate engineering, cryptocurrency. By April of that year, he co-founded Terraform Labs with entrepreneur Daniel Shin. By August, they raised $32 million in seed funding from major investors, Binance Labs, Huobi Capital, TransLink Capital. The pitch? An algorithmic stablecoin ecosystem that would revolutionize decentralized finance. In 2020, Terraform Labs launched Terra UST, a stablecoin designed to maintain a $1 peg. But unlike traditional stablecoins backed by cash or assets in bank vaults, UST was algorithmic. The mechanism was elegant in concept. If UST dropped below $1, holders could burn UST to mint Luna, the companion token, creating arbitrage opportunities that theoretically restored the peg. If UST rose above $1, the reverse happened. No bank reserves, no collateral sitting in accounts, just code, market incentives, and confidence. The crypto world watched with fascination. By April 2022, the Terra ecosystem hit a $60 billion market valuation. Luna traded above $116 per token. Terra USD became the third largest stablecoin in the world. Forbes named him to their 30 under 30 inches list in finance and venture capital. He was a crypto king, and he believed he was untouchable. His name, Do Kwon. The arrogance. But Kwon had a reputation. On Twitter, he was aggressive, dismissive, arrogant. When critics questioned Terra's algorithmic model, Kwon mocked them. He called skeptics poor. He insisted the system was backed by sound economics and mathematics. When the Luna Foundation Guard accumulated billions in Bitcoin reserves to defend the peg, Kwon tweeted that it made the system unbreakable. In April 2022, MakerDAO's former head of risk had warned years earlier that Terra's model was vulnerable, citing similar collapses like Nubit's in 2016 and 2018. Others pointed to structural weaknesses. Kwon ignored them all. On April 16, 2022, Kwon announced the birth of his daughter on Twitter. He named her Luna, "My dearest creation named after my greatest invention," he wrote. 3 weeks later, his greatest invention would collapse. The collapse, May 7, 2022. More than $2 billion worth of Terra USD was suddenly withdrawn from Anchor Protocol, a Terra-based lending platform offering unsustainably high yields. The stablecoin began losing its peg. UST dropped to 98 cents, then 95 cents, then 90 cents. Panic spread. Holders rushed for the exits. The arbitrage mechanism, the thing that was supposed to save the system, kicked in. Billions of new Luna tokens flooded the market as people burned UST trying to escape. Luna's price, which had peaked above $116 in April, began plummeting. May 9th, Luna fell below $30. May 11th, Luna dropped under $1. May 13th, Luna was trading for fractions of a cent, essentially worthless. Terra USD collapsed to 10 cents, then stabilized around 2 cents, a 98% loss. Total value destruction, over $40 billion. Retail investors, many of whom had invested life savings based on Kwon's assurances, lost everything. One distraught investor broke into Kwon's sole apartment building on May 12th, demanding answers. Kwon wasn't there. He was believed to be in Singapore. The contagion spread fast. June 13, 2022, Celsius Network, a major crypto lender heavily exposed to Terra, froze withdrawals. A month later, it filed for bankruptcy with nearly $12 billion in assets. June 15th, Three Arrows Capital, a prominent hedge fund with large Terra positions, collapsed. November 11th, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried's exchange, filed for bankruptcy. Blockchain analytics later showed Terra's collapse played a part in FTX's failure. By year's end, Bitcoin had fallen nearly 65%. Dozens of crypto companies crumbled. Hundreds of thousands of investors worldwide were devastated. Some suicides were reportedly linked to the collapse. The manhunt. After the crash, Kwon vanished. September 19, 2022. Seoul prosecutors moved to place Kwon on Interpol's Red Notice list and revoke his passport. September 26th. Interpol issued a red notice for Kwon's arrest. 350 investors filed a $57 million lawsuit against Kwon, Terraform Labs, and others. But Kwon wasn't silent. He taunted authorities on Twitter. "I'm writing code in my living room, HBU." October 5th. South Korea's Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced Kwon's passport would be canceled in 14 days. October 12th. Kwon registered a company in Serbia, a country with no extradition treaty with South Korea. December 2022. South Korean authorities confirmed they believe Kwon was hiding in Serbia. February 16, 2023, the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission charged Terraform Labs and Kwon with orchestrating multi-billion-dollar crypto asset securities fraud. SEC Chair Gary Gensler. "We allege that Terraform and Do Kwon failed to provide the public with full, fair, and truthful disclosure." The U.S. Department of Justice launched a criminal investigation. The FBI questioned former Terra employees. Kwon was now wanted on 3 continents. The arrest, March 23, 2023, Podgorica Airport, Montenegro. Montenegrin police detained a man attempting to board a flight to Dubai. He was traveling with falsified Costa Rican documents. In his luggage, a set of forged Belgian passports. The man was Do Kwon. With him, Han Chang-jun, Terraform's chief financial officer. Both were arrested. Montenegro's Interior Minister, Filip Atsic, confirmed, "Montenegrin police have detained a person suspected of being one of the most wanted fugitives, South Korean citizen Do Kwon." In June 2023, a Montenegrin court sentenced Kwon to 4 months in prison for document forgery. His appeal was rejected in November 2023. Then came the extradition battle. Both the United States and South Korea wanted him. After months of legal wrangling, Montenegro's justice minister decided in favor of the United States in December 2024. December 31st, 2024. Kwon arrived in the United States. August 12, 2025. Kwon pleaded guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud and wire fraud. December 11, 2025, U.S. District Judge Paul Engelmeyer sentenced Kwon to 15 years in federal prison, 3 years more than prosecutors requested, 10 years more than the defense sought. The judge called it fraud on epic, generational scale. Prosecutors noted that losses from Terraform exceeded those of FTX, Celsius, and OneCoin combined. So what was it? Fraud? Extreme overconfidence? A failed financial experiment? Kwon's defense argued he was a brash entrepreneur who tried to build useful technology, and that the project failed due to market conditions, not criminal intent. Prosecutors said Kwon deliberately misled investors, lied about stability, and showed little remorse. The truth probably lies somewhere in between. Do Kwon believed in his vision. He dismissed critics, he mocked skeptics, he called his system unbreakable, and when it broke, $40 billion disappeared. Lives were destroyed, an industry was shaken. After serving half his U.S. sentence, Kwon may be extradited to South Korea, where prosecutors are seeking up to 40 years in prison. The man who erased $40 billion will spend decades behind bars. His daughter Luna will grow up knowing her father's greatest invention destroyed countless lives.